Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from Channel 5 studio in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes, Start Your Morning Right with your hosts, April Martinez and Desani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I am Isana Caetano. Good morning.
Good morning, Isani. How are you this Wednesday?
I'm good. We're going 3 for 3.
We're going 3 for 3. I'm telling you, I was telling our audience yesterday, we're finishing up the week. As you are watching Gimme 5, you are going to be seeing Isani and I on the morning show. I think that it's a good balance for the hosts.
Yes. Man, I'm up.
Yes,
I'm
you're
feeling
awake.
Good. We're at the middle of the week.
We are at the middle of the week.
I don't know if there's like a feeling of a cold front coming or what have you.
You are wearing a jacket, so I feel like it's cold. Because normally I'm cold.
It's just a little bit of style
Okay
today.
then.
I'm not doing it because I'm freezing.
Okay. Because I run cold, and every time I'm in the studio, I'm like, I'm cold, and Isana's like, it's not cold. Yes, it is. But you're right, Isana. We are 3 for 3. How are you feeling waking up early, 3 days in a row now?
Well, no, I'm used to it, quite honestly. It's just that because of the December workload, it just feels as if though the days are much longer.
Okay.
Well, the days are shorter.
Shorter, yeah.
But the amount of work and the things that we need to accomplish during the day makes it feel drawn out.
Yeah.
But it's nothing that I'm complaining about. As a matter of fact, that it's that time of year that I look forward to.
Yes, I think all of us do.
And so take it on the shoulder.
Of course, and we have to be able to bring our viewers the latest and greatest news out there. We are with them pretty much 24/7 now that we have our news at noon segment. So they see us on a regular basis throughout the day. And speaking of bringing you news items and topics, let's jump into our What's Buzzing for this morning. As we were talking about it earlier this morning, one of the headlines from last night's news piece, and I think one of the bigger ones that stood out to us, was the breakdown of the CT scan at the KHMH hospital.
Yes, so we've been trying to get confirmation since Monday as to the status of this piece of equipment at the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until yesterday that the CEO, Chandra Cansino, issued a statement informing of the actual breakdown of this machine. Why is it something that is worth talking about this morning? Well, we were able to contextualize it yesterday. You would know that on Friday evening, this group of young men and their coaches were involved in a road traffic accident outside of Carmelita along the Northern Highway. And they, perhaps not all of them, a few of them would have needed the services
of the
provided for them to have CT imaging, right? And they were inconvenienced by the fact that the machine was down, right? And so the thing here is, if you've been following this whole thing about the CT machine and the fact that KHMH has been clamoring for one for well over a decade.
Yes.
And this piece of equipment you're seeing here is rather costly.
Yes.
It's nothing that comes cheap. So the Ministry of Health saw to the procurement of the CT machine. KHMH installed it. The video you're seeing here was from a tour of this particular piece of equipment, or familiarization, if I could describe it as such, that was given to the media on March 20th of this year. So we would say that it's been operable since then.
Yes.
Till recently. That's a little over 8.5 months. And now the machine is out of service.
Yes.
A specialized technician has to be brought in to look at the situation and see how it can be fixed. There is no date, however, as to when they expect that this repair work would be completed. Until then, patients who need this kind of service now have to go back to the private hospitals to seek it. And as I mentioned, it's pretty expensive
Yes.
to get this kind of work done. Now, I don't know what are the contributing factors. The statement issued by KHMH says that the components of the machine aren't communicating with each other.
Right.
And I think it's a result of, as they describe it, condensation. So it's moisture, essentially, right? I would draw an inference. This is solely from a layman's point of view.
Okay.
Normally, when we talk about condensation and moisture, is to say that the climate within the environment where this piece of machine is kept perhaps is a bit too warm or what have you. And this is a piece of equipment that for all intents and purposes needs to be at a particular temperature. It has to be kept cool, right? Or cold, what have you. And so that's not the case. Now, I don't know the extent of the damage within the equipment itself. That has to be determined by the specialists who will come in and what part or how that will be dealt with. But again, we're focusing on the inconvenience of it all, right?
Yeah.
And to circle back to contextualizing it, yesterday the mother of one of these young men made a desperate and an impassioned plea,
Yeah.
not because of not having a schedule for another CT process to take place, but the fact that he has a 10% chance of surviving this ordeal that befell him and others on Friday. And I know that I'm segueing from the CT machine issue, but it's a very real and human issue, right? Before coming to work earlier, I decided to watch the story again. It was on Facebook yesterday.
Yes.
She went live and, pretty much cried out for, not in this case, the kind of help that you would physically give,
financial,
but she's asking for prayers. Right? And I think that in itself is very powerful and moving. Because just listening to her, she's like, at this point, it doesn't matter which God you pray to. Just
pray.
say a prayer for my son to be able to pull through. And I think that is a very, very profound message for me to wake up to this morning.
I every time I listen to it, I do get a little bit emotional, because when you're looking at it from a medical perspective, if they're telling you 10%, or if you have like 10 months to live or 2 months to live, right? Those are the preliminary data that the doctor will give you based on the results that they get from your medical condition. And she's saying, I don't care. I don't care that is your medical opinion or result. I feel like tomorrow he's going to wake up and he's going to walk, and I have hope. And I think that for I'm not a parent, but for a loved one in this particular condition, if you don't hang on to hope, you have nothing left. And you have to hope.
And that's the thing, April. When we're faced with adversity, especially in matters of life and death, all you have is the optimism of a miracle, right? And I can empathize with this parent. I don't know what I would do if I were in a position where, you know, my child or my loved one or my sibling or whomsoever is in that situation. But, and I don't want to get off on a religious tangent or what have you, but I'm simply saying prayers work and miracles do happen.
We've seen
You
it.
just have to believe, you just have to surround yourself with people who share
Yeah.
the same kind of belief system that, you know, prayers do go a long way. As we say, they move mountains.
Yeah. And just to kind of circle back to the conversation with the CT scan, Isane, one of the reasons why she came on in the first place was to say, you know, where he's at right now, he can't get the CT scan because the machine is not working. And I can't take him somewhere else because that's the machine that's keeping him alive. If I unplug that, I am saying goodbye to my person. So she doesn't have an option really but to pray and to hope that he wakes up.
So we would describe as a sort of like a binary fix.
Yeah.
Damn if you do, damn if you
Yeah.
don't kind of thing. And again, I you know, my heart goes out to her. I continue to pray for the recovery of everybody,
Yeah.
including Alex Bainton, and that the community of Keycocker moves on past this ordeal once everybody is back on their feet.
And she's asking for everyone to light a candle, and the candles are lit. I can say that for certain. But if you are and you heard her plea, like she said, it doesn't matter which God you pray to, just hope that he gets better and you light that candle for him. But and you know, I when we come on the morning show and we hit these topics, it's a little bit difficult to move on to something else because we're here kind of
No, we're off to a somber start.
We are
but
off to a
At the end
somber
of the day,
start.
it's an important conversation to have.
yes,
right?
but moving on into more of a good topic, something that we look forward to here in Belize is that we finally signed the disability bill yesterday that
Yes.
now is an official law in Belize.
It's been long in the making. We need to commend this particular administration for introducing it and seeing it all the way through. Equally, we need to commend everyone who has supported this particular piece of law, including the opposition parliamentarians as
Yes,
well.
indeed.
When this was tabled before both chambers of the House, it was met with near unanimous, if not altogether unanimous approval.
Indeed.
This points us in a different direction, where at the end of the day, inclusion is key. It also points us in a direction where we're moving away, or we ought to be moving away from discriminating against persons with different abilities.
Yes.
Right? When I look at what this now sets out to do, April, it means that for us to be able to accommodate others who are differently abled, we now need to retrofit our spaces, particularly public spaces, for access to persons who use wheelchair and what have you. Now, I don't know how swiftly the rest of society and our community across the country is going to move to be able to start this process. But the fact that a piece of law has now been brought to force means that we now need to see to it that it gets done.
Yeah.
So that when persons who are wheelchair bound come to our facility, there's a ramp.
Yes.
You know, people who may not necessarily be sightly, there's other ways to accommodate them in and out of the building and so on. But that's just a little part of it.
And you know,
There are so many other factors that has to do with employment, the way we treat people, and so on and so forth.
yeah, and you said it right. The government has done their part. It is up to us as the community now to follow through.
Yeah.
And that is basically the message that the Honorable Dolores Valderramos Garcia gave yesterday in the interviews. And I think for when you go, we have to set international standards, right? I think Belize has been one of the first in the Caribbean to set this law in place, of its kind anyway. Other international spaces I don't want to say fully cater for persons with different abilities, because the Western region still has a lot more to go. But in spaces of business places, public spaces that have ramps, they have braille, you know, to signalize where persons are moving. There is audio visuals, so that persons that are blind can hear, can hear where they're going and so forth. There are lit up pathways in certain spaces. There are bigger elevators for wheelchairs. So it's a lot, and I, you know, it makes me think about our facility here. It makes me think about my facility at Niche and all that we have to kind of do to step up and you know, make sure that we follow this law. And I believe that certain businesses and public spaces have a year to you know, basically recreate their infrastructure so that they can fit within you know, the requirements of this bill. I, for one, am very, very happy for it. I'm curious to see how it's going to influence the way that we treat people, how it's going to influence the way that we educate.
I'm more concerned about how we treat persons with different abilities than I am solely about the retrofitting of the physical spaces. Because infrastructure is one thing, right? The human component of it, to me, is the most important. In much the same way we are now moving away from discriminating against persons with HIV/AIDS, for instance, right? We're heading in a direction where we should be doing away with discriminating against persons who are disabled altogether. You know, it's about inclusion, as I mentioned.
Right. And so for us, I think it's a huge win here in Belize, fitting for the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. It was signed yesterday on December 3rd, and we are going to see how the community continues to react. You know, this conversation kind of continues on beyond this week of Disability Awareness Week. And final conversation topic for this morning, just to leave it on a lighter note, because we are here at Channel 5 and we are bringing to you the best, I would say, the best giveaway game show that we have. And that is, of course, Gimme 5.
Before we go to Gimme 5, we need to talk about our annual Christmas card, right? Viewers would know that around this time of year, Channel 5 always has a visual treat. And what's interesting this time around is that I'm actually in there, and I kind of feel weird.
You haven't been in the other ones?
I've been
I have to go back and...
I've been Grinchy for all these many years, right?
I have to go back and look at the other cards.
But I'll give kudos to Rick.
Yes, Rick Romero is a genius.
For coming up with a different concept this year that sort of includes everybody. It has in the past, but I could rock with this one. Let me say it that way.
Is it because there's a song component to it?
No. Without giving away, without giving away what's going to take place in the jingle, it's easier that we show our viewers, right?
So here is the Channel 5's annual Christmas card.
It's Christmas time at Channel 5, bringing joy to Belize. From the news desk to the great outdoors, we've been working to give you more. From morning shows to breaking news, serving the truth is what we choose. Oh, Channel 5, I'm on your side. Through every storm, we're your guide. With laugh, debates, and moments true, we share Belizean life with you. So raise your voice, it's Christmas cheer. We've got big plans for the coming year. Together we thrive, here's to Channel 5. Let's keep the magic of hope alive. We've got goals that shine so bright, like a Christmas star on a silent night. More content, stories, and tech upgrades. Oh, Channel 5, we're here to stay.
Yay!
So you know what's interesting about this?
It.
I never knew that Mona Lee had it like that.
Same. I walked in this morning and the first thing I looked at her and I said, why didn't you tell us you could sing? She is multi-talented.
So, kudos to Mona Lee. That's
kudos,
excellent.
Mona Lee.
Yeah, that voice is
the song was
something.
actually written by Rick.
Yeah.
And
nicely,
performed
nice.
by Mona Lee. And, you know, whenever Rick is so such a genius when it comes to production, that when he has an idea, I think that he just directs you what to do, and you have no idea really what's going on. And I had no idea that that would have been the result. But it's absolutely beautiful, and I am glad that you're in it, because I said now I have to go back and check all the ones, because I have been in the Christmas cards. Where have you been?
Yeah.
But I hope that you all have been enjoying our Christmas card. We are going to be running it for the rest of the December. And we are just so happy to share this card with you, our viewers. And this is our way of saying thank you for watching us here on Channel 5 and watching our growth. But that does it for our What's Buzzing topic for this morning. Just to remind our viewers to tune in tonight again for the third night of Gimme 5 at 8:30 p.m. sharp. You don't want to miss it. Prizes on prizes on prizes as the tank continues to fill up with coupons. So you don't want to miss that. And now, Isani, as we shared our Christmas card to kind of feel us into the Christmas season, if you will, here what we're doing on Open Your Eyes is every morning we're bringing you Jingle Tales.
Hi everybody. Continuing with our theme this week, we have Grandad Star by Rocket Books. The author is Rian Stone and Francis Tosdevin. Grandad knows how stars are born. He tells me their stories and shows me their twinkles. But now something is different. Grandad has started to forget his star stories. Discover how the love we share can reach across galaxies. Mom and I love it when Grandad tells me star stories. How, when he was small, he had a warm hat and a map of the night sky and a pocket telescope. Grandad won a young stargazer certificate. And now he's teaching me to stargaze too. You see, my granddad's an astronomer. He shows me how the stars twinkle, sometimes bright and sometimes dim. On cloudy nights, we can't see any stars. There's no twinkling, only darkness. Luckily, cloudy nights are often followed by clear ones. When the sky is bright with stars once again. Grandad is teaching me the names of all the stars and constellations. He is very patient when I forget. And when Grandad was my age, there was one thing he really wanted: a bigger, zoomier telescope to help him see the twinkling stars more clearly. And one day, he got this one. But now, it's old. The focus is foggy, the tube is dented, and we can't see any twinkles. Grandad takes the telescope apart. He is going to fix it and give it to me. Grandad says that it will show me any star I wish. When I grow up, I'm going to work here with Grandad. He has a board for writing important things on, a star chart that fills the whole wall, and a truly enormous telescope. Grandad looks deep into space, and space looks back at him. And guess what? My Grandad is famous. He's got a supersized screen and a clicky thing to change the pictures. When people ask him questions, my Grandad always knows the answers. He teaches people how stars were born, what they are made of, and how they move through space. My granddad has discovered 17 new stars, and one day he wants to have a star named after him. But now, something's different. Granddad keeps forgetting where he's put things. Sometimes he can't find the clicky thing, and his screen stays blank. He isn't sure of the answers anymore. Now when Granddad shows me the stars, he can't remember all of their names. His map of the night sky confuses him. Mom writes some important things on a board to remind him. But he keeps asking me if it's Sunday, even though I tell him it's Tuesday 17 times. And then he forgets my name. Mom says that the memories in our brains are like the twinkles of stars, shining brightly or glowing dim. She says that some of Granddad's stars are twinkling dimly. There might be cloudy times when there are no stars at all. Mom says it's okay to feel sad. Now, Granddad is having more cloudy times. When he forgets my name, I whisper it in his ear. I show Granddad his young stargazer certificate. His eyes shine. I teach Granddad the names of the stars and constellations. I'm very patient when he forgets. Sometimes I tell him star stories too. Granddad loves those. Plus, Mom and I are fixing something important. It's Granddad's scope. It will show me any star I wish. I will point it into the darkness, and it will find the fading twinkles of my own dear Grandad star, the Alpha Granddaddy loveliest. So that was Granddad's star. Grandad started to forget many things that he taught his granddaughter. In Belize, we have older folks and grandmas and grandpas and even parents that tend to forget things from time to time as they get older. But we shouldn't forget that at one point they were patient with us when we were not learning things quickly or forgetting things. So it's a good story for families to read. Granddads and grandma and grandkids can read them together. And moving on to tomorrow's book, we have San Francisco, King of the Disco. See you then.
Wonderful. And like we mentioned, this is going to be part of our morning show for the remainder of the holiday season. Thank you to Collins Publishing and the Book Center. Moving on with our show this morning, we bring you the weather update from the folks at the National Meteorological Service.
Good morning. An occasionally gusty northeasterly air flow prevails. The 24-hour forecast is for mainly fair weather with only isolated showers or light rain developing over the south. High temperatures today will be 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 86 inland and 74 up in the mountains. Low temperatures tonight will be 74 degrees Fahrenheit along coastal areas, 65 inland and 63 up in the hills. The winds will be from the northeast at 10 to 20 knots, becoming occasionally gusty, and the sea conditions will be moderate to rough. A small craft caution is in effect for occasionally gusty winds and locally rough seas in northerly swells. The outlook for Thursday and Thursday night is for mainly fair weather with little to no rainfall expected. There will be a low tide at 6:30 this morning, followed by a high tide at 12:48 this afternoon, and another low at 5:22 this evening. The sun will rise at 6:09 this morning and will set at 5:17 this evening. The moon will rise at 9:15 this morning and will set tonight at 8:29. This concludes this morning's weather report prepared by the National Meteorological Service.
All right, thank you so much for that report. It does explain the cool weather that we're having for the past 3 days, Isani. But we do have 3 wonderful conversations to get into for this morning's show. So our first conversation is going to be with the folks from the Coastal Zone Management Authority and Institute. They'll be in to discuss innovating for cleaner oceans with blue bonds through the marine spatial planning.
For our second conversation this morning, we'll learn about how these jazz musicians are adding their own creative flair in each performance, making every show unique. That is jazzing up the holiday season.
And wrapping things up, and speaking of the holiday season, 'tis the season for a fresh, festive home. Nice indeed. And we are going to be talking Christmas cleaning. I know Isani like talking about Christmas cleaning, and I do too, and how families and businesses can spruce up their homes and spaces in preparation for the holidays. So you don't want to miss these conversations and more. But before that, we got to take a quick break. And when we come back, it's all about innovating for cleaner oceans with blue bonds. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Nayeli Yakab. I'm the coordinator of the Benga House of Culture Niche. Before the Belize Bank online service, I had to travel to San Ignacio because we don't have a Belize Bank branch in our community. Now with the service, I can conduct my transactions at the office, at the comfort of my home, just anywhere in the world. It has made my life much easier. I would recommend the Belize Bank digital services to everyone and anyone. It gives you back your time, it's highly reliable, it's available 24/7, and it just makes your life easier.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Whether you're enjoying the outdoors,
Finally here at the Fort George Hotel and Spa. This is nice.
or stuck in the office.
How can I help you today?
When it comes to finding the perfect frames and lens for your eyes, what you do makes all the difference. Elevate your eye vision. Choose eyewear that reflects your lifestyle. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
In Belize, diversity is our strength. From the vibrant streets of Corozal to the serene beauty of Punta Gorda, and from the charming town of Benque to the breathtaking views of Half Moon Key. We are a tapestry of cultures, traditions, and perspectives. But amidst our differences, there's one thing that unites us all: that defines the essence of Belizean identity. Our love for this land and sea we call home. Our Belize Barrier Reef is more than just a natural wonder. It's the lifeblood of our nation, the foundation of our culture, and the backbone of our economy. Every lobster caught, every conch harvested, every tourist enchanted, every investor satisfied, every proud homeowner, and every taxpayer. They all depend on the health and vitality of our marine environment.
I may be out on the water every day, but I know that my livelihood is tied to the health of the reef. We all depend on it.
As a tour guide, I get to share the beauty of a reef with visitors from around the world. But I want future generations of Belizeans to experience it too.
Fresh seafood is the heart of Belizean cuisine. I want to continue creating delicious dishes that celebrate our local flavors, sustainably sourced from our waters.
In Belize, we may come from different backgrounds, but we all share the same dream: a thriving marine environment capable of sustaining us all. Together, let's work toward that future. A future where we all thrive.
And the first call of the night is, and remember, don't say hello, say,
"Give me 5."
The biggest giveaway show of the year is back with new prizes and surprises. The fun starts at 8 p.m. on Monday, December 2nd and ends on Friday, December 6th. Give Me 5 coupons are now available for 25 cents each on our Channel 5 website and at our studio on Coney Drive in Belize City. Fill out your coupons and return them to our Channel 5 office. Remember to tune in at 8 p.m. every night from December 2nd to the 6th for awesome entertainment, giveaways, and many prizes. Don't forget, when your phone rings, don't say hello. Say, "Give me 5, give me 5, give me 5."
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are going into our first conversation for the morning with Innovating for Cleaner Oceans with Blue Bonds. Here to talk to us about it all is Executive Lead for the Nature Conservancy, Ms. Alana Godoy. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And the MSP Process Lead at the Coastal Zone Management Authority and Institute, Mr. Samir Posado. Good morning. And our colleague coming in all the way from Barbados, and he's the Director of the Barbados Coastal Zone Management Unit, Dr. Leo Brewster. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Brewster.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Alana.
Before we jump into the program exchange that we're going to be discussing later on, just for our viewers to give a reminder of what the mapping spatial planning is all about and how that factors into Belize's ocean and coastal zones.
All right, sure. Marine spatial planning, which is really the approach and the overall activity taking place within both of our countries, is really a participatory process which brings stakeholders together to really plan our ocean space. Like, that might sound a bit boring or a bit broad, but there is, great importance in understanding exactly where activities can and cannot take place for us to ensure that the use of our marine environment is sustainable over time. It also gives, the everyday stakeholder an opportunity to weigh in on the future of their activities that they enjoy. And this ranges from anything from economic activities, so things that they do for livelihoods, and as well things that are recreational, social, their leisure spots. All of these things are intertwined in the fabric of our society, and we do believe that stakeholders should have a say in, how this is really mapped out, and so there's across the board understanding of where, activities can take place within that space.
I understand that MSP has also been extremely instrumental in discussing with communities that live on the coast, persons that do, local fishing that practice certain indigenous fishing practices and so forth. How has that program been progressing throughout the past 2 years?
Sure. So our program, our MSP process officially launched on October 19th of 2022. And since then, we've been working to first identify the stakeholders, those actual users that are integral to the process of, really looking and rationalizing the use of the space. And from there, we then went to, I believe it was about 26 communities across Belize along the coast, and really took the time to understand exactly where are the important areas for them in terms of their use. And we even went a step further. Instead of just hearing it, we had them actually draw it out on maps. And so we know exactly where the important areas are. And the idea is not to now know this area and restrict and try to move people away. It's rather to look at ways for us to safeguard those spaces for those uses that have been identified as priority. So we have been really working with communities to figure that out, because us in Belize City, we're not the experts. We have a broader knowledge of the inner workings of that area, but the users, the everyday users, are those experts that really need to point us in the right direction as to where these spots are, what the preferred uses are, so that we can get it right. Beyond that, all of our activities are tied to larger milestones within the larger framework of the Blue Bond Agreement. And tied to that agreement, there are milestones that we have to hit, that we have to achieve along the way. And we have met a milestone recently, which has to do with the creation of biodiversity protection zones, or MPAs, to cover 25% of our ocean. I think there's a misconception that all MPAs are restrictive, and it really is just a tool to disenfranchise fishers or tour guides and so on, but that isn't the case. In fact, this last round of expansion that we did to meet the 25% goal was all general use zones. So it's areas that support sustainable use, and the only way you're being disenfranchised is if you're doing something wrong. And, in that case, we can kind of do without those activities. So, but so far that has been the progress with our MSP process here in Belize.
How receptive have these communities been towards this MSP? I ask in the context that for some of us, or for many of us perhaps, it's difficult to accept certain changes, right?
Yes.
Especially when you're already set in a way of life or your own philosophies or what have you. How receptive have they been towards this new idea?
By and large, they have been supportive of it. I think, like I said, there's a notion that it's all related to restricting use, and I think once we get the opportunity to be in front of the stakeholders and actually dialogue with them, we're able to explain that this isn't a matter of us trying to stop you from doing your work. We're trying to safeguard your space for the future, and we're not only looking to zone areas for marine protected areas. We're actually looking at all uses: fishing, tourism, development, and we're looking to allocate the space necessary for those things to continue, so that as we develop as a country, there is no gray area, there is no misconceptions as to where certain activities are permitted and are supported by the environment, so that we have a clear roadmap as to how we progress and develop as a country.
I definitely see it as a way to assist us with, searching for illegal activities and so forth. I believe we broke a news piece about overfishing a couple of weeks ago. And I feel like for us, from a viewer standpoint, we're watching it and we're saying, why are you charging this person $5,000 for overfishing some lobster? Like, that doesn't make any sense and so forth. But when you see the grand scheme of things, it does affect our biodiversity, it does affect our economics, because if we don't have products to export, then we're not, growing our GDP. So I definitely see the positives of the MSP in this way. Now, for this particular conversation, you've discussed how biodiversity taps into it and the collaboration with the Nature Conservancy. So let's talk about that.
Yes, so when Belize closed the Blue Bonds, that was in 2021. 1 year afterwards, that was when we had the third milestone, which is launching of the marine spatial planning process. And that was for us to announce to the public that this process is beginning. So I think it was like 10 months after we closed in Belize, Barbados closed. And so Belize is advanced in terms of our marine spatial planning process, and so there's a lot of lessons learned, challenges we learned along the way, and so we saw this as a good opportunity to bring the Coastal Zone Management Unit from Barbados to Belize to learn from our government partners here on the ground, and just to advance the process in a way where they're probably not doing the same mistakes, or they could learn from us. And it's a two-way street. So they're also listening to us, seeing what we've implemented, and they're sharing some ideas with us in terms of how to engage the public, the media, our stakeholders. So it's a very enriching session we've been having this week. And so yes, we look forward to continuing this week with them.
What is happening this week?
So this week we're hosting a peer-to-peer learning exchange. So we have our colleagues from the TNC Eastern Caribbean team, as well as the Coastal Zone Management Unit from Barbados. We're meeting here with our local partners and key stakeholders to the marine spatial planning process. So for example, the Blue Bonds Finance Permanence Unit, the Ministry of Blue Economy, and of course the leading agency, Coastal Zone Management Authority.
That's really interesting, because I mean, I know for international news, when we broke out our blue bond, it made headlines everywhere. I think that it was an impressive move from the Plan Belize that our government put out. And I'm very curious to hear. I didn't know. I thought Barbados would have had something like this already, just because we look to Barbados, we look to our brethren in the Caribbean for guidance sometimes when we make certain decisions. But 10 months later, Barbados closed as well. So let's hear how this particular process has been for Barbados.
Well, thanks a lot. I think that from Barbados's perspective, we have been pretty much following a similar pathway, which is really why this sort of session is really useful for us. We found that over time, obviously the greatest challenge that we've experienced is the issue of building trust. Trust with communities, trust with the general public, so they can get an understanding and appreciation as to what marine spatial planning is all about. And we've also been working very hard to try to ensure that our communication outreach is such that it's not only different and diverse, but it can touch as many sectors as possible in as broad a spectrum as possible. So while we've been having the individual meetings with community groups and some stakeholders, we've also been meeting at the sector level to try to ensure that we're getting the necessary feedback. Now when this opportunity came up for us to actually have this peer-to-peer session, it became really important for us, because we recognize that although we're on parallel paths, the approaches may be different, right? Obviously because of community structure and relationships, etc. So, and culturally. So we found that coming here, we've learned a lot in terms of how new approaches at incorporating different aspects of community and culture can be integrated into the process, right? And that has been very useful for us. I think also having seen the stages that we are also following, because everyone follows like a specific sort of roadmap towards the implementation of the Marine Spatial Plan. We recognize that there are several steps along the way that we also have to look at, and gaining from the experience from Belize, we've started to recognize that there may be one or two areas of additional work that we have to look at, right? I think one of the biggest things that we're now trying to wrap our minds around while we're here is how we can more actively incorporate blue economy activities within the MSP process, right? Belize is very fortunate in terms of the way how their debt structure has been arranged to ensure that the blue bonds is more or less like embedded within this whole process. And we're not quite along that same vein according to our structure. So structurally it's slightly different, but it gives us opportunity to broaden new aspects of our looking at the area.
I'm very curious to hear how the meetings have been going? Because we're here at Wednesday, and I'm assuming it began from Monday.
Monday.
Are they structured in a particular thematic space that you have different guest speakers and so forth that lead the sessions? How is it structured?
Yes, so we launched on Monday, and that's where we had all of our key local partners that I mentioned before join us. And so on Monday was just a high-level overview of the process here in Belize, who are the key players, what milestones we have accomplished to date, what are some of the challenges. And so yesterday we visited the Blue Bonds Finance Permanence Unit, and that is where I think Dr. Brewster was talking about the differences in terms of how Belize has really taken ownership of blue bonds and have established the Blue Bonds Finance Permanence Unit to oversee and coordinate among the different ministries. So that is something unique to Belize. And so we were very excited to hear, because I mean, although we live and breathe this every day, it's nothing like when you're sitting and you're hearing it again, like you still get chills in terms of how much we've accomplished to date. And so yesterday we started the day with a bang with the Blue Bonds Finance Permanence Unit, and then thereafter we went to Coastal Zone, and that's where we got into the weeds in terms of how they're doing the ocean use survey, how they're collecting the data, how they're engaging the public and meeting in the community. So today we're actually meeting with the Ministry of Blue Economy and the Fisheries Department to learn more about the marine protected area design, what's the ministry's role, and the blue economy policy and strategy, so that, like Dr. Brewster said, to see, you know, what are some elements that they could incorporate in the process going on in Barbados. So if the weather holds up, they'll get to see a little bit of Belize tomorrow. And on Friday, we wrap up and talk about next steps. And what may come out of that is maybe establishing some sort of memorandum of understanding or some sort of agreement to continue this exchange, because it doesn't end here.
Right.
So as unique as Belize's Blue Bonds initiative is, Dr. Brewster, what are perhaps for you some of the takeaways that can be implemented elsewhere within the region, perhaps in Barbados even?
Well, I think the whole approach to the type of outreach initiatives that are done, right? I mean, like our end, we've also been looking at implementing our own outreach initiatives, and because we already have a blue economy roadmap and action plan, we now have to see how that can better be integrated into our process. So that's going to help a lot. We are at the stage now where by September next year, we have to do our next significant milestone, which is to create 3 scenarios for consideration as to how the marine space is going to be developed and managed, right? And as part of that process, we're already looking down the road, because we have to recognize that this is a new approach to ocean governance. Okay, and people don't fully understand what that means, well, like in Barbados, because they really only focus on the coastal space, right? So where all the conflicts exist, we know. But when you tell them, like, project and look past the horizon, because just like Belize, our boundary is out to the exclusive economic zone, 200 nautical miles offshore. And that means that you have a lot of ocean space to manage. And it isn't only managing it for fisheries or shipping or surveillance and security, but it's also what other activities are potentially going to take place there in the future. Right? And right now, some people can't understand or appreciate what it might mean to have an offshore wind farm or offshore solar panels, you know, in terms of marine renewable energy, or even oil rigs offshore in certain areas, you know, that could pose a obstruction or obstacle for their vision, because people just like to know that when they go to the sea,
they see nothing.
They see nothing but rippling waves and that sort of stuff, right? So it's an approach where we have to look to see how we can incorporate that. And we're also, by next year, going to be starting to do some significant marine research. We've actually been dealing with the Marine Institute of Ireland to come in and do some deep sea mapping for us to get some real tangible substrate data, so we can understand what's down there. to better guide us in terms of when we have to start zoning those high areas of biodiversity for potential conservation, right? So that's how we're looking to roll it out. We're driven predominantly by science as well as a way forward. So I think that as we look at it, we recognize the similarities that exist, and we're really looking forward to continuing this relationship because it's been beneficial for us being here today, over this week.
It's very interesting to hear you speak about it because for us, from regular civilian in Belize, we think about the small island states, a small island, small populations, and so for us trying to get a handle of our biodiversity and keep certain things conserved and our ocean space preserved, we kind of have this misconception that the islands are already doing that because you're surrounded by all of this water at a majority space, right? When you are talking about the culture aspect of it, how we implement and talk to our people, let's talk about how you all have been implementing these strategies as well.
Okay, so from our end, the community structure in Barbados is not like Belize. So we have actually gone around to the small fishing villages on a one-on-one to try and get feedback from the fishers and working extensively with the fisheries division to get feedback from that sector generally as to what the concerns would be. Because one of the concerns always is that when you hear marine spatial planning, the first thing is everything's going to be banned, there's going to be no fishing and that sort of stuff. And as was rightfully said, that's not the case, right? We're going to have what we called marine managed areas, where we'll have mixed use activities that will be able to take place, but some places will have to be protected and preserved as pristine, right? We've also started to initiate what we call listening sessions, where Barbados is divided into 11 parishes, and therefore we've been having parish meetings whereby it allows the particular parish to come and express their views and concerns as to what they see is happening in the marine space and coastal space and what they would like to see. So that allows us a different approach because it's open to all the public to come if you're interested, but we really want to hear from each parish and representatives from the parish as to what's going on, because otherwise you may end up in a situation where those that keep the most noise will always turn up everywhere and repeat the same thing, and what may be happening on the West Coast is not really applicable to an East Coast parish, so that's what we've been doing. We've also been carrying out our own interviews with the sector players. So we've met with just about all of the blue economy sector players right now, and they've been providing key informant interview feedbacks. And we're now getting ready to launch our own ocean survey similar to Belize. They did one before, now they're repeating it. But we're now getting ready to launch our first ocean survey, which is going to allow, once again, the public to provide feedback, and across the sectors as well, to provide specific feedback to that process. We had, in the early stages, done a perception survey, which was to really and truly allow the general public, through social media, to provide what they felt their inputs were and concerns were for the ocean space as well. So those are the different things that we're doing.
For the Nature Conservancy, Alana, is this the only initiative of this kind that you're partnering with in country?
It's the first so far, but I believe that this is the first of many that will come, because as we continue to close deals in other countries, people want to hear and learn from Belize. So I think that the role that the Nature Conservancy will play is to facilitate those type of learning exchanges where other countries can learn from us. So.
Wonderful. As we wrap up our conversation this morning, I would like to give you all an opportunity to give final words to our viewers, particularly about the program, but what we can expect from your different institutions in 2025.
Okay, I'll start then. Well, of course, this MSP process in Belize is ongoing. According to the milestones, our MSP is due on November 4th of 2026. So we still have a little bit of time, but there is a lot to do. And so in progressing through this process, in early January of 2025, we will be doing the Ocean Use Survey again. So we'll be going back to those 26 communities that I mentioned, and we're going to go back to the stakeholders to figure out again, to ask them to identify those priority areas with a view to fill in any gaps that we may have missed during the first round, and as well to see if there are any trends in terms of change of use within the time period that we did from when we did the last one, because our year might seem like a little bit of time in terms of trends, but a lot can happen in a year.
Yeah.
And so we need to account for that. And so we will be all over Belize at the beginning of the year. We will be having community meetings during that time, focus groups. The focus groups will be done by sector, so please look out for any flyers or communications to say, fishers come, tour guides come. And I mean, just let us know, because I believe this is the opportune time for everybody to actually come out and have the government work in a way that will safeguard your interests. Not saying they don't do otherwise, but I'm just saying that this is when it comes to the marine realm, this is the opportunity to ensure that you have a sustainable livelihood, in years to come, and to ensure that you do your part to safeguard those resources for future generations. So I invite everybody to be a part of this process and to stay informed. And of course, if they have any questions or anything and they want to know more, just contact us at the Coastal Zone.
Okay. Dr. Brewster?
Oh, thanks. I think that from our end, there's a lot of things that can be done from our end in Barbados that we're going to be looking to roll out and implement on a fast track. Similarly, our target date to have the Marine Spatial Plan finished is September 2027. So once again, we're just behind, right? So we are on a very tight window of action as well. So there's a lot of work to come our way. We will obviously be continuing our dialogue post this week with Belize and TNC in terms of the approaches that may be required to activate certain other areas. And I know that this week has been very beneficial for the team that has come, because it's myself and 4 others that are with us from the Marine Spatial Planning Unit in Barbados, right? And it's been a good opportunity for us.
Wonderful. Alana?
And TNC will continue to work in this space to promote and support our partners on the ground for sustainable ocean management. So this isn't the last of us. You'll see, and hopefully it's not 2 years again until we sit on this couch. So I encourage the public as well to follow our social media pages, especially that of Coastal Zone, to learn and see when they'll be in the communities. So you all don't have to wait for when they're in the communities. Use social media, post your comments, your concerns. That's what the tool is there for. So thanks for this opportunity, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your morning.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yes, thank you very much.
With that, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, it's all about jazzing up the holidays. We'll have our jazz band in studio ready to share with us some nice jazz tunes and talk about how they are performing this holiday season. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Bananas on the Beach, your gateway to local luxury. To book your stay, visit bananasonthebeach.com or contact reservations at 280-4726.
My name is Hermine Vega. El Patio Grill has been using Belize Bank for over 25 years. We only use Belize Bank at our restaurant. That's why we were able to win this trip to Europe. I had never been to Europe. We found out it was Madrid and we were excited and we went to this football match. The teams reached before the game and everybody was just outside, you know. You can't explain it. The noise just roared like 3 blocks down the street, but when you got in there and you saw 70,000 people in there, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it was happening. I had to pinch myself to make sure it was real, you know, because it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience, I'd say. My lucky plus one was my son. He's 18 years old, so he was really excited and he enjoyed it as well. He said it's his best trip ever, so it's a priceless experience that we got. Belize Bank has always been there for me. Whatever transactions or whatever I need to do, they're always there for me. I would recommend everybody to use Belize Bank. It's the oldest bank in our country and they continue to do their best.
Cellular World is the authorized Samsung distributor in Belize and they offer 1-year local warranty on all Galaxy devices.
Cellular World always has the best tech deals countrywide.
Get 3 or up to 7 years warranty on all Dell technologies because Cellular World is the authorized Dell partner here in Belize.
Like these good folks, rush down to Cellular World for the best tech deals such as cell phones, TVs, tablets, speakers, business products, and so much more. Visit any of our stores in Belize City, Belmopan, San Pedro, and now in Orange Walk. Or shop via our virtual store through Facebook and Instagram. Or WhatsApp us at 615-5141 to find out more.
Belize, get ready. In Your Kitchen, Belize Edition is bringing you simple, healthy, delicious meals made just for you. Join Chef Ainsley and our team of nutritionists as they show you how to turn local favorites into nutritious, tasty dishes. Plus, discover the amazing health benefits of everyday foods right from your kitchen. Join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 5 for healthier cooking that's easy and fun. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness with support from Taiwan ICDF. Making healthy cooking a Belizean tradition.
Of the night is. And remember, don't say hello, say
give me 5.
The biggest giveaway show of the year is back with new prizes and surprises. The fun starts at 8 p.m. on Monday, December 2nd and ends on Friday, December 6th. Give me 5 coupons are now available for 25 cents each on our Channel 5 website and at our studio on Coney Drive in Belize City. Fill out your coupons and return them to our Channel 5 office. Remember to tune in at 8 p.m. every night from December 2nd to the 6th for awesome entertainment, giveaways, and many prizes. Don't forget, when your phone rings, don't say hello. Say give me 5. Give me 5. Give me 5.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "And let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her, and leave them that she may glean them, and rebuke her not." There was an ancient law that allowed the poor and widows to follow the reapers in the field and pick up what they accidentally dropped. Ruth, whose husband and father-in-law had died, was left alone with her mother-in-law Naomi and was doing exactly that. However, being noticed by Boaz, the owner of the field, she was shown compassion, and the reapers ordered to drop her extra handfuls of barley on purpose. I often wonder how much of what we do is by accident, by coincidence, by obligation, for recognition, or by a selfish motivation to receive something in return. A loving God wants us to drop handfuls of blessings on people on purpose. Some time ago, I was a recipient of such a handful on purpose. My wife had been seriously ill and unable to go with me to a preaching engagement. On the way home, I stopped at a restaurant in a small town to find food for her body that she could tolerate. The waitress was most caring in helping me make my selection, and as I sat waiting, I casually spoke to a young couple in the adjacent booth. Soon they got up and left. My food was brought, and then it happened. The waitress said, "Sir, your meal has been paid for." I said, "But who paid for it?" She said, "Sir, they did not want you to know." I had never met that young timid couple before, but sensing my concern for my wife, they taught me the meaning of handfuls on purpose. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSD, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
And the first call of the night is, and remember, don't say hello, say,
"Give me 5."
The biggest giveaway show of the year is back with new prizes and surprises. The fun starts at 8 p.m. on Monday, December 2nd, and ends on Friday, December 6th. Give Me 5 coupons are now available for 25 cents each on our Channel 5 website and at our studio on Pony Drive in Belize City. Fill out your coupons and return them to our Channel 5 office. Remember to tune in at 8 p.m. every night from December 2nd to the 6th for awesome entertainment, giveaways, and many prizes. Don't forget, when your phone rings, don't say hello. Say, "Give me 5, give me 5, give me 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
Belize, get ready. In Your Kitchen, Belize Edition is bringing you simple, healthy, delicious meals made just for you. Join Chef Ainsley and our team of nutritionists as they show you how to turn local favorites into nutritious, tasty dishes. Plus, discover the amazing health benefits of everyday foods right from your kitchen. Join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 5 for healthier cooking that's easy and fun. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, with support from Taiwan ICDF, making healthy cooking a Belizean tradition.
Quiet
It's
sophistication
very
about jazz
smooth.
music.
I love jazz music. I feel like the jazz music has been one of those, like, I think underrated genres. In my opinion, I think that we only think about jazz when we're thinking about those jazz bars or like a mellow type of thing. But I think it fits the holiday season, if you will, just a little bit. You feel cozy, you feel warm, and you feel you feel expensive. But that was the Pelayo trio, and on the guitar we had Loreto Pelayo, on bass we had Christopher DeShield, and on the drums we had Josh Herrera. So they are going to join us on set this morning. So we're going to have guitarist Loreto Pelayo. Good morning.
Good morning.
And bassist Christopher DeShield. Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here and gracing us with some smooth vibes this morning.
Yes.
Very, very mellow. Let's talk about your band, Mr. Pelayo.
Yeah, so this band actually started only about 5 years ago. We have Christopher DeShield here. Also, we could call him a founding member. He's been here from the beginning. He's never let us go. And you know, it kind of started in my UB years because I developed this passion for jazz music, you know, in like a very real sense. Because this music is not something you could find in Belize, and that's some people find that a controversial statement, but I don't. Because when we talk about jazz, right, we think about, you know, John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, Louis Armstrong, Miles Davis. And if we want to hear, you know, the music that these people were playing, you know, which in itself is a very diverse genre, we can't like roll up to the jazz club and say, okay, I'm going to sit down here for 2 hours and I'm going to listen to, you know, the hip new music. It's the reality is that it's not a thing, and so it became a passion project for me, and you know, I'm very blessed to have all these members here who are also very passionate about the music, And so, you know, my goal really is not, you know, many people, when they get into music, their goal might be to become famous, to make a living off music in Belize, or, you know, whatever else it might be. But my goal is plain and simple, to play jazz and to enjoy it. Nothing else. That's all it is.
So beyond the Duke Ellingtons and some of the names that you mentioned earlier, who are some of your contemporary influences?
You mean those are alive? You know, the interesting thing is that, you know, if you watch movies like La La Land, they will say jazz is dead, but jazz is not dead. Jazz is very alive.
You have people like Kamasi Washington.
Thundercat. Speaking of
Terrace Martin.
We're actually working on
right?
one of his tunes. He released a new album lately that we're trying to do one of his tunes.
Kamasi?
Kasami Washington, I believe it is. So contemporary. There's a lot of great people. Like there's Pasquale Grasso, who is, if you look him up, he's literally one of the great. He might be the greatest guitarist of all time. Funnily enough, I also have a lesson with him.
Greatest guitarist? I thought that would have been Santana.
I was just about to say.
This guy destroyed Santana. Julian Lage is another great guitarist that I look up to. And, you know, the interesting thing as well is that I also know many of these jazz players who are in the scene right now. Just last December, I went to Philadelphia and I played with a group there. It's the thing with jazz is that it's not so much as something that you sit in your house, listen all day. Jazz is a very communal practice. And so, you know, being in the scene is as important as the music you're listening to. So
it's intimate that kind of way, right?
Yeah.
I have I've listened to you guys perform, and Christopher is a fellow colleague of mine, and so when he started playing with you guys, that's when I started to look you guys up. And you have your guitarist, you have your bassist, and you have a drummer. And some might say, where is your saxophone?
There is a sax player.
Okay.
That's my wife, but she's practicing. She's coming soon.
Okay.
I can promise you that she's coming soon.
Okay. So let's talk about your, you know, collaboration into the Pelayo Trio.
Yeah, well, I'm just listening to Pelayo. I think he's got a kind of educative streak about him, and not to psychoanalyze him or anything, but there's a bit of the obsession there that I think is nice for learning things. You know, when you have that kind of fervency, you have that zeal, poking around at things and fully understanding them. So of the three of us here, I feel very much the student learning. I'm older than them by far. I suppose for some years. But definitely a learning experience for me. It's a kind of music that I grew up listening to from my father. He had a lot of records, jazz records, and I always wanted to play it. So I had the opportunity to jump on the bass from when I was at Palotti School of Music. And although that music wasn't played there necessarily, I had that love for it, and I'm very thankful for the chance to join this trio and actually play it according to the tradition. One thing I note about it, though, you know, mentioning where you can find jazz in Belize, I was very interested to discover that with the recent Belize Music Project, was invited to go to Ivan Duranzo's studio in Benke. And he has these recordings of these Belizean musicians in these sessions in Radio Belize studio, covering the same repertoire that now Pelayo is rediscovering, studying, reviving here. So there are Belizean antecedents to this type of music and this tradition that we don't often point to. You get references to maybe in a Mandala newspaper talking about certain figures in Belizean history. But there are those Belizean connections, which I think is probably an interesting thing to
There are also well-known Belizean jazz enthusiasts. I think of Dolores Balderramos Garcia with Jazz Expressions, right?
That's right.
She, on radio, in terms of being able to promote the genre of music, is one of the forebears, at least for my time, in terms of allowing me to be able to appreciate jazz, right?
Yeah, and so the thing is, you know, appreciation is step one, because the thing is that people need to identify what is jazz and what is not, because jazz has somewhat become a catch-all. Everybody wants to be called jazz, but jazz has an inherent meaning to it. Jazz, you know, he mentioned jazz is part of a tradition, it's part of a continuity. And so if you just come up with playing anything on the saxophone and calling it jazz, or saying, oh, this has very complex rhythms, this is jazz, it's not jazz. There needs to be a continuity with what jazz was and what jazz is. It cannot be in 1950 it was one thing, and in 2020 it's completely separate. So music evolves. So the music can be different, it will be different, it will be more modern.
But there are
but
laying
it's not something
foundations of
separate.
instruments and tunes and melodies that would say it's jazz. I'm asking because when I visited New Orleans, that was one of the I got my educated tour, and that was something that was explicitly explained, that yes, it can evolve and so forth, but there are certain foundations of tunes that you can't like remove, like blues, you can't remove ragtime and so
Swing
forth.
feel,
from jazz itself, right?
And I'm glad you're saying that. I'm so happy you're saying that, because it brings me, and I don't wanna sort of disenfranchise our audience, right? But you have an artist such as Masigo, who is a saxophonist, he's a multi-instrumentalist, who borrows influences from various other genres of black music, but jazz is the foundation for it. So how would you look at an artist like that, who is borrowing to create something fresh?
Yeah, so there's a saxophone player by the name of Patrick Bartley, and he talks about this concept a lot. You know, much of black music is derived from jazz. You know, the rhythms of
music is
hip-hop,
derived from
even rap.
Music is
they're sampling a lot from jazz, and so you know, because of the great tradition, it only makes sense that, you know, many different art forms are borrowing from jazz. And you know, even like when I say things like this is jazz, this is not jazz, it's not to say this is good music and this is bad music. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that one thing is identifiably in one category and the other, you know, is not. And so I think it's a really great thing. There's somewhat of a jazz revival, some people are saying these days, because many contemporary artists are rediscovering, you know, the richness of jazz. And actually there are many like jazz artists who are very famous today, like there's a singer by the name of Samara Joy. She sings straight ahead jazz, like there's nothing about it's straight ahead jazz. And she, I think recently she has like 4 Grammy Awards now, and so
and awards.
The people are there, the music is not dead, the music is alive. And you know, some people are saying that Lauve is the new resurrection. She sings that, you know, slightly different type of music, but you see she also sings some songs that come from what is called the Great American Songbook. And what this is that and next reason why I said jazz is very communal music is because the repertoire is common. You know, I could go to China, find some jazz musicians over there, and we would have a shared pool of tunes to pull from. And so these are, a language. These are tunes that in the 20s, 30s, 40s were very popular in the US. Jazz musicians, you know, took and played their own way, and they became what we call standards. And so, you know, this one was actually I'm calling it contemporary, but it was from the 1950s. We played a tune called Nardis. It was written by Miles Davis, popularized by Bill Evans. But we could go, you know, to a jam session at, I don't know, Chris's Jazz Cafe in Philadelphia and call Nardis, and you know, everybody knows Nardis. And so like it's like not so much about the I, about the me. It is about the me when I'm improvising, but as part of the collective, it's, you know, it's a group activity.
So
do you think,
go ahead.
Do you think Belizeans have this appreciation for the genre the way how it resounds across other parts of the world? Like, I think Thelonious Monk and all of these other artists who paved the way for what it is today. But I don't know if they are sung heroes in Belize as they are elsewhere.
No, they're not. You go to New York, you see they have a statue of Duke Ellington on Fifth Avenue. Belize, and so that's kind of part of our goal as well. We want to foster a appreciation of jazz in Belize, and that's why I said we're not. And when I say we're not going for the gigs, that runs deep. So our goal is to eventually have a place where people could listen to this music regularly, long-term goals, right? And so our goal is not to get the hotel gig to play in San Pedro, appease a bunch of tourists, come back, collect the money, and celebrate. That doesn't make me happy.
Yeah,
I'm not happy doing that. And so if Belizeans have the appreciation, some do, and some don't. But that's why we're here. We're bringing the music. And if we look at the setup, it's a very traditional setup. Many people won't notice this, but what's happening is we're physically identifying the group with jazz. If you look at this drum set, it has one rack tom. The kick drum is a bit smaller. If you look at the guitar, it's called a hollow body guitar. It has one pickup on it. Little things like this. There's of course, music is sung, but there's an association with what we see and what we hear. And when we see these attributes, again, like technically, I could come up here with like a, solid body rock guitar and sung similar. That's true. But if I came up here with, a huge guitar amp, the guitar has like the deep cutaway on it, him on an electric bass, we theoretically could play jazz, but then there's a dissociation with what we see and what we hear, and so these two elements, have to combine.
But I feel like we could talk about this for an entire show, and I would be very entertained. But we want you guys to do us a small performance before we wrap up our segment this morning. But maybe perhaps Dishil, if you could chime in here, where can we find the Pelayo Trio for the remainder of the holiday season?
Well, we've recently had some adverts go out. I've had friends and colleagues contact me and say, "Well, I see you up there on that, like on the social media and the like." So there are adverts, number that you can call to get in touch with Pelayo, the band leader. And then we have a few gigs coming up,
Yeah.
I want today.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, one
This evening,
today. Okay, so we can see you guys around the country for this holiday season.
Yeah, actually, we're planning a concert for April. The details aren't set, but we're bringing down one of the active saxophonists in the scene. His name will be revealed very soon, but he's a very prolific sax player, and we'll be bringing him to play with us. We're just working out the logistics on that, but it's happening April for sure. We're set on that.
Awesome. Well, guys, we would love for you guys to close off our conversation this morning with one of your tunes.
Okay, so I guess I'll do that original tune. He named it. It's actually a mix of Belizean and swing. It's called Please Fishiling. So they could send
Please
me the shilling.
Fishiling. Okay, well, let's get started, guys. Awesome. Please Fishiling.
And I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offer, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connection. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
Belize, get ready. In Your Kitchen, Belize Edition is bringing you simple, healthy, delicious meals made just for you. Join Chef Ainsley and our team of nutritionists as they show you how to turn local favorites into nutritious, tasty dishes. Plus, discover the amazing health benefits of everyday foods right from your kitchen. Join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 5 for healthier cooking that's easy and fun. Brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, with support from Taiwan ICDF, making healthy cooking a Belizean tradition.
And the first call of the night is, and remember, don't say hello, say,
"Give me 5."
The biggest giveaway show of the year is back with new prizes and surprises. The fun starts at 8 p.m. on Monday, December 2nd, and ends on Friday, December 6th. Give Me 5 coupons are now available for 25 cents each on our Channel 5 website and at our studio on Pony Drive in Belize City. Fill out your coupons and return them to our Channel 5 office. Remember to tune in at 8 p.m. every night from December 2nd to the 6th for awesome entertainment, giveaways, and many prizes. Don't forget, when your phone rings, don't say hello. Say, "Give me 5, give me 5, give me 5."
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. Joining us for our final conversation. We've been talking about holiday decorating and a little bit of, Christmas cleaning. But to kind of give us a deep dive into the holiday cleaning, we have with us Camry Lewis, and she is the owner of Top Tier Cleaning Services. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you guys for having me here today.
And thank you for being with us. We kind of started to talk about Christmas cleaning from last week.
I'm way behind, by the way. I'll just leave that there.
I think with us, with Belizeans, really, we think about, dusting out the attic and cleaning up the wooden floors and so forth, and then spreading the mali. I still linoleum, but apparently it's not a Belize City thing, it's a mali. But beyond that, before we get into it, let's talk about your business and how you got started.
Sure. So I actually got this idea in my head around 2015, 2016. I was working for a client in the US, and they do have a cleaning service based there, but I was more on the back end doing administrative tasks. And I was like, I can do this in Belize, but I was afraid. So in 2022, in December 2022, I actually took the leap of faith and I said, I'm going to start my business. And I relocated to Belmopan. So now I'm offering cleaning services in Belmopan and surrounding areas.
How has that been going for you?
So it has been pretty challenging since I'm actually expanding, or I'm growing. So it's very challenging, but I'm learning the tricks and trades of the industry. So it's going pretty good for me other than that,
It would seem that, and I'm saying this not from any kind of expert point of view in terms of where these kinds of businesses come in, but you find that a lot of cleaning services are popping up now. So there seems to be some sort of a demand for outsourcing this kind of work to small companies to come in and do that kind of work.
Yeah, so what I've noticed actually is that people, they work a lot and they don't have time. So with my cleaning company, we actually allow people to reclaim some of their time, and also we provide a healthier and cleaner environment for their self, along with if they have a family. And also whether if it's an office, a business or home, we do provide like a personal touch with our top-notch service that we provide.
So let's get into the service itself, because you said that it's been a little bit challenging, and if I know you did have the pan, I mean, I don't call you already. But let's talk about the services that you provide. It's in the name, top-tier cleaning, but I get like a deep cleaning in my rugs. What do you provide?
So currently we do provide home cleaning. So we do like, it can either be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly cleaning. So basically that would be that we would go in, we would do the dishes, we would wipe down the counters, we would clean the rugs, we would do also window cleaning, and we also do move in and move out. So like, let's say you move from an apartment or your home and someone else is coming in, we do provide cleaning for that. So it's going to be like a deep cleaning where we'll do again window cleaning. We'll also use our steam cleaner here. So the steam cleaner would help to bring dust and dirt to the surface. And we also do event cleaning. So and we also do office or commercial cleaning.
Wow. I would feel like event cleaning would be one of those things that pick up very quickly, because you know, because it's very easy to come in, decorate, do the entire event, but it's the aftermath. It's like when you cook and then you don't want the dishes afterwards.
So event cleaning has actually become popular since it's the Christmas season. So people that are booking services for after their Christmas party or their Christmas holiday parties. So
So even though you're based in Belmopan, would you travel out for an event cleaning?
Yes, so I'm actually looking into providing services in Belize City, so I'm expanding into Belize City. So I'm working on getting my team together here. So for the new year, possibly we'll be here in Belize City.
So for the Christmas cleaning that Hisani says he's a little bit behind on.
A little bit is an understatement. I'm considerably behind on my Christmas cleaning, right? So let me jump in here and ask you, what are we looking at in terms of some of the bare essentials that you would need to clean a living space?
A living space. Okay, so let us start with the microfiber cloths. So the microfiber cloths is just to use to wipe the dust surfaces, wipe the surfaces, to clean windows, or also to clean the or polish. So we do have the option to use eco-friendly products, or we have the option to use chemical cleaners. I do know that like some of our clients, they prefer like eco-friendly products. So for instead of using like the pledge, we would actually use the coconut oil. So you would just dab a little bit on the microfiber cloth, and then you would polish your tables or countertops if you have.
Will you mix the coconut oil with nothing?
Nothing. So it's so if you do know, like coconut oil has like a I don't think it has a strong scent, but some people might think so. You just
that particular one is mild. That's the one that we have.
I do prefer the silkgrass coconut oil. So I would say that you just take a little bit, and you would actually see that it works better than the pledge. But don't say I said that.
Well, I kind of now want to go home and try that.
You should. And then another product, so we have the kebab sticks. So it's not only for making like barbecue kebabs, but you can also use this to clean your windows. So if you see the windowsill, there's like some corners that it's hard to get into the corners. So you can actually use the kebab sticks, and you put the microfiber cloths on top of the kebab sticks, and you clean the corners. So
yes. What would you recommend? So now I start to go into what I need to do for the rest of the holidays. These cobwebs in corners.
So that's a very good question. So usually I would just use the broom to sweep the cobweb, and then we also have the orange oil that you can also dilute with water, and
can't go wrong with
it
that.
actually helps to repel ants and geckos and other insects. So you can use that.
Guys, she is knowledgeable. Hire her now. But these are like you said, for your clients that prefer a more eco-friendly way of cleaning. But for for those like those greasy surfaces, for example, if you're cleaning the overhead oven of a kitchen.
Yeah, so I would then recommend using the steam cleaner, because that helps like to remove grease. And then we can also use the baking soda, and then we also use lime. So with the lime, it also leaves a natural citrus scent. So you can combine it together as a paste, and then you can clean the oven head.
That is incredible.
In school science class, we do a reaction between the acid from the lime and the base from the baking soda.
And you see it bubble up.
The surface.
But Camry, you've only been operating since 2022.
Yes.
Right. So for those at home that would like to hire you, especially for their Christmas cleaning and for just essential services and so forth, tell us how they can get in contact with you, and also what are the prices that you offer?
So what I do in regards to pricing, I actually go in and provide a free estimate to potential clients, and then if they decide that okay, they want me to go ahead and clean, then we set a date and time for me to go in with the team. And then you guys can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Top Tier Cleaning BZE, and I just launched my website yesterday, so it's www.toptiercleaningservices.bz, and you can get in contact with us through there.
Are you already booked for the holiday season?
I do have a couple clients, but I'm always open to receiving more.
Definitely.
And I'm trying to think about the fact that you're saying that most of the clients are very busy and that's why they would hire you. So then that means, do you come during the day to clean? Do you do after business hours? How does that work?
Yeah, so most of the time I do clean during the day. So there is like a level of trust from the clients. So they would allow me into their own homes while they're not there, and then I would clean. And once I'm done, I'll actually send them a message saying, I'm finished, and I will wait for any feedback that you have, and we go from there.
Okay. This is incredible.
I was about to say, trust is one of the most important factors where cleaning is concerned, because as you rightly pointed out, oftentimes the homeowners aren't around at the time when the service is being done, and they have to know that they can trust you with everything that they leave behind, because it's very personal to them. You're in their specific personal space. That's their sanctuary, right?
Yes.
Are you working by yourself, or do you have employees that are working with you in terms of being able to carry out all of these services? And how do you find being able to instill in them that the trust factor is key for the integrity of your business?
So currently we have a team of 5 people, including myself. So usually when I first meet with like a potential employee, like I would basically lay down to them saying that this is my baby basically, and I want people to trust us knowing that we're going to be in their personal space. And then we also have them provide a police record just to have on file to make sure that they don't have any prior convictions. So that's something that we do.
That's really taking it all into consideration indeed. And as we are wiring down for this conversation, like I said, just for our viewers, even if they're out of Belmopan, they can still hire you to come in and clean.
Yes.
Yes.
So Mr. Kaitana, you can call me for your Christmas ring.
I was looking at my ceiling fan this morning and I realized how way behind I am on cleaning.
That when you realize,
I won't be forgiven if I don't get that taken care of by weekend. So I'll come knocking.
But yes, for our viewers, how can they book you, and where are you located?
So we're located in Belmopan, and again, you can also reach me on WhatsApp. My number is 610-6890, or you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Top Tier Cleaning BZE, and you can also visit our website.
Thank you so much, Camry. And we hope that we get to see you. I personally think I'll call you because you're the right demo.
I'll be waiting.
If you want to get your Christmas cleaning on, hire Top Tier services straight out of Belmopan. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be wrapping things up. Don't go away.
Grandad. I'm the coordinator of the Benke House of Culture niche. Before the Belize Bank online service, I had to travel to San Ignacio because we don't have a branch, a Belize Bank branch in our community. Now with the service, I can conduct my transactions at the office, at the comfort of my home, just anywhere in the world. It has made my life much easier. I would recommend the Belize Bank digital services to everyone and anyone. It gives you back your time, it's highly reliable, it's available 24/7, and it just makes your life easier.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Whether you're enjoying the outdoors,
Finally here at the Fort George Hotel and Spa. This is nice.
or stuck in the office.
How can I help you today?
When it comes to finding the perfect frames and lens for your eyes, what you do makes all the difference. Elevate your eye vision. Choose eyewear that reflects your lifestyle. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
In Belize, diversity is our strength. From the vibrant streets of Corozal to the serene beauty of Punta Gorda, and from the charming town of Benke to the breathtaking views of Half Moon Key. We are a tapestry of cultures, traditions, and perspectives. But amidst our differences, there's one thing that unites us all, that defines the essence of Belizean identity. Our love for this land and sea we call home. Our Belize Barrier Reef is more than just a natural wonder. It's the lifeblood of our nation, the foundation of our culture, and the backbone of our economy. Every lobster caught, every conch harvested, every tourist enchanted, every investor satisfied, every proud homeowner, and every taxpayer. They all depend on the health and vitality of our marine environment.
I may be out on the water every day, but I know that my livelihood is tied to the health of the reef. We all depend on it.
As a tour guide, I get to share the beauty of a reef with visitors from around the world. But I want future generations of Belizeans to experience it too.
Fresh seafood is the heart of Belizean cuisine. I want to continue creating delicious dishes that celebrate our local flavors, sustainably sourced from our waters.
In Belize, we may come from different backgrounds, but we all share the same dream, a thriving marine environment capable of sustaining us all. Together, let's work toward that future, a future where we all thrive.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We want to say a big thank you to all of our guests for coming in and having the conversation with us. I want to say a big thank you to our friends from Coastal Zone Management Authority and Institute, as well as the Nature Conservancy, and their clients from the East Caribbean zone, including Barbados. A big thank you to the Pelayo jazz. Yeah, the Pelayo Trio jazz band. I think we kind of started to get into a very deep jazz conversation there. We could have finished the show with that. And then, of course, we want to say thank you to Top Tier Cleaning Services out of Belmopan for coming in. I think I've learned a thing or two about some Christmas cleaning tips. So
useful tips.
I will take that home. I'm very. The coconut oil was genius. And of course, thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Of course, starting your morning right here with us on Open Your Eyes. It is December 4th. I didn't give a picture, but my mom texted me and she's like, it's your auntie's birthday, so I want to say a big happy birthday to my tia Maria. She always watches. She's in California, and she tunes in and she watches every single day. So mwah, happy birthday, tia Maria, from all of my family, and of course especially from me, because this is my birthday shout out, and we love you very, very much. If you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch our Facebook Live on Open Your Eyes BZ and check out all of our highlights on Instagram at oye_belize. And of course, do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon, Belize. Tune in to our Gimme 5 tonight at 8:30 p.m. sharp. Bye.